Hello, this is Stiff Right Hand. I am the Dominator, Stu Allen, and this week my guests are Jon Peter Moores from the Extreme Academy of Wrestling and the Welsh Wizard, Jason Cross, isn't it?
He once punched his mother in her mammary glands. It's Angry Stu Allen of Stiff Right Hand.
And enough of that bollocks. Hello, thank you for joining us once again for another nonsense-packed edition of Stiff Right Hand. Thank you ever so much last week to everyone who tuned in and downloaded. A huge amount of new listeners last week, probably thanks to our transatlantic clientele sent our way from the likes of Scott Hall and Frankie, who were our guests last week and who kindly plugged the show for us via their social media ways. So thanks for that, guys, really appreciate it. And I'm here with Tanya Allen.
I'm here, and ain't I?
Squeezing a tea bag.
Yeah, there's a tea bag still in my tea, and I nearly drank it. I nearly teabagged myself.
Oh.
Fuck that.
I've done that before.
That's dreadful.
I've pulled my old nutsack backwards over my head.
like a wedgie.
I've wedged myself with my bollocks.
With your own ball
After
bag.
having a hot bath, because my
How was that?
Stupid.
Your ball bags are quite supple, though, aren't they?
After I've had a hot bath, my balls float outwards like they've got a life of their own, like an old fucking sea creature. They move outwards as if
Release the Kraken!
Yeah, if you poured pink blancmange into a bath, that'd be like my balls
they're
are
not
like.
pink, really, are they?
Depends what day it is. Depends. But they're very huge, and sometimes after a hot bath, I can pull them up almost to my nipples. They're like a giant fleshy canvas. There we go. Anything else this week?
I feel well. You've tuned into the ball bag week on Stiff Right Hand. Just kidding, it's not really that. So
I'll tell you what I did get this week, which I had a miserable week and I'm very thoroughly annoyed. But I got a lovely free CD from my friend Leeville, his album in the post, signed by him.
And it's proper good, mate.
Yeah, I love him, and so please go out and buy that. Like I said last week, my mate Leeville. I'm going to smash this 8-track. It is the bollocks. It's on Amazon and everywhere else, and get onto it. Because I've had it, and it's the bollocks, and I'm on it as well. So there you go. So thanks for that, buddy. 'Cause I know you're listening. What else? What do you know? We've had a really good week. We had our first ever 3-pronged training academy session with. We've got our schools. We've got our Extreme Academy of Wrestling in Hastings, which is our main training centre. Then we've got Medway and we've got Maidstone, and then we managed to collaborate with all three together at Fighting Tigers Gym with all of the relevant trainers. So how did you think that went?
I enjoyed it immensely. It was a bloody lovely session, and it flew by for a 3-hour session, to be honest. It was nice to see the difference in our approaches to things as trainers, and that's lovely to see, because then it gave me more ideas for our guys. But it's lovely to see that our cause and our values and the things that we're teaching the guys just remains the same universally. And we've got some amazing talent coming through the ranks. So it's a really exciting time to be involved with EWW, and potentially the next couple of years will be as well. Especially with the launch of the Academy brand, the shows, the new belt that we're going to get for those guys. And so we treated the session as a bit of a tryout, just to see who amongst the babies were hungry, right? And who wanted to push themselves, and who wanted to be seen, and what would happen if we introduced that element into this great big pile of talent and hunger. And that was pretty fun. It was
good. There was definitely 2 standouts who were there. And I mean, everyone's going to get the opportunity to show them. We've got 5 academy shows next year, as well as our bigger ones. That's if we do the bigger ones. I'm not entirely certain that's the way forward. I'd like to stick to some smaller shows next year, because I think that's the way to go. But like I say, the students did really well, and they were really hungry, and they worked their bollocks off. I'd like to thank a few people who've sent us some bookings recently. We've got Chris Kay. We're going to be going off to do some work for Chris Kay, and Andy Simmons. We're going to be going back up to Gosport again.
I enjoyed Gosport.
That was good fun.
Yeah,
it was like an old... back in the day, those little venues were the bread and butter of English wrestling, but I was talking to Dave earlier in the gym about that, and I was like, he said, you know, he loves doing the more intimate shows, and I said, well, bear in mind, back in the day, in the fucking 80s, those halls would have been as noisy and as full, but full of cigarette smoke.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
It sounds like you're talking about something in a different time altogether, doesn't it? But those fucking bingo halls and that, they were thick with cigarette smoke. Can you imagine wrestling in that? Ugh. It's bad enough wrestling at Brett Takeshi's castle.
God, when I got pneumonia and died.
In fucking
that time that Brett killed me.
In sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, listen, it was so fucking cold. I did like one bump in my match. I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing that again. I honestly thought my body was going to shatter.
I thought Stone Cold Steve Austin was coming out. I had the glass break. But it was you taking a bump.
It's just me taking a back
But
bump.
no, that was fucking so cold. But like I said, it's yeah, I think those old wrestling venues back in the day, they were all full of old men smoking cigarettes.
Old women bashing people with their handbags.
But I don't mind that.
I like to think so.
Yeah, well, you know, our friend Conrad.
Old bitch in Takeley that tried to yank my hair out, so I spat in her face.
Yes.
I'm fucking furious.
Well, I'm not sure it was a fair exchange. But I mean, you think back in the day, like you got Klondike Kate, our dear friend Jane. She got stabbed with fucking a foot mouth jab.
Oh, fucking.
Do you know what I mean? She was wrestling in a fucking place full of old farmers, and some old cunt came and stabbed her in the arse with a foot mouth jab.
Imagine being able to get them so fucking angry that they do that, though.
Exactly.
That's the thing of beauty. Like,
that's wonderful. I was just getting into wrestling at the time, and that was just about dying off. But wrestling at the Corn Exchange in Norwich, I just saw the tail end of it.
She was properly hated, wasn't she, in the day?
Jane was so hated across the board at wrestling.
She was a pariah.
She didn't need to do much. She didn't have to, because all she would take was a look from her, and people literally wanted to fucking kill her.
I love Jane.
Jane's amazing.
Klondike, you're the fucking tits.
Yeah, and get on my show. I said to her the other day, have you got Skype yet? She ain't got Skype yet.
Why is she doing it?
She don't know what's going on with her, the technology, bless her. But she's hopefully we're going to get her on very, very, very soon. If not, I'm just going to drive to her house and set this all up. And
she'll be all happy to see her.
She's got no excuse, and we can have a pot noodle together and a cuddle. And a bit of sex.
No.
Oh, I'll just go a bit of sex with Klondike Kate.
Okay, fine.
Why not? I'll sign my autograph in a silvery snail trail on her knockers.
She doesn't want your autograph.
Of course she does. She wants my...
Oh, Jane, I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's gone that way now, isn't it? Jane, you're having it. So next, everyone was banging on this week. I'm loath to mention the WWE.
Oh, don't do it. You said it.
Yeah, everyone this week was talking about and how shit it was that Bray Wyatt turned out to be, spoiler alert, Sister Abigail. However, I thought it was fucking brilliant, and I've always been a fan of wrestle crap because I love nonsense and gimmicks, and I don't think everyone should take it all so seriously because it's wrestling at the end of the day, a bit of fun, people. And I thought, having watched it, yes, it was cheesy as fuck, but when faced with everyone else wanting to wear kick pads and be Johnny Latspread, I thought, well, it's fucking good, isn't it?
I was literally going to say
we've literally got mouth for a crisp.
Eating some mix-ups, other crisp hybrids, I reckon.
I'm eating some mix-ups, I'm eating some rips.
I am.
You can't tell me what to do.
But I'm eating it. It's weird. Stop doing that. You're being weird.
Go on then.
You're being fucking weird. It's like a savoury selection pack. Oh, do you mean Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, we're talking about the wrestling.
I thought you were interviewing me about the crisps. Alright, well, shit. Yeah, I liked it. I think it's in a climate where horror movies are very, very in the forefront and they're very fashionable. I think that it is ballsy. I also think that I am a massive, great big fan of huge fan of gimmicks. So, it is gimmicky, yeah, maybe it is a bit wrestle crap, yeah, but do you know what? It's nice that everyone else is talking about something other than Seth Rollins. I hate Roman Reigns. I love Roman Reigns. And now I hate him again because everybody else hates him.
There's no need to be rude about me. That's just how I am. I likes what I likes.
But I hate internet wrestling fans.
Yeah, so do I. We all hate them.
But just like,
but thanks for listening.
You guys suck, seriously. But I always use this as like my... I use this as my
don't go answer another sentence and then stuff for Monster Munch.
Monster Munch? It's fucking Munch.
That's the thickest one of all. That's the one that's going to take up most of your mouth. If it had have been now, these are mix-ups. Had this have been the humble French fry, that would have been. I can talk normally, but that Munch.
As I was saying, I always use this to motivate myself if I'm having a bad day. I always say, you think your day's bad? At this point, someone, somewhere on Facebook is probably a fully grown adult male is losing his shit on a thread about how WWE was booked and how he would have booked it. And if that doesn't make everyone feel better, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, Bray Wyatt, I digress.
It was good. It was fucking cool, man. Good. And not only that, but that lad, I don't know what his real name is. I know he used to be called Husky Harris. I know he's IRS's son, but he that boy can act.
There's also Whatsits in here.
Just sitting there, there's something watchable about him. He's spellbinding. There's something very, very credible about the way he talks. And
he just knows how to deliver a promo. He knows how to live in his character, and therefore it is believable.
I know Dusty Rhodes spent a lot of time... That's what you make a team, baby.
Oh,
I see you got some Walker's mix-up there.
Oh, my God.
Is it like the month of month? Do you like the French fry? Or you go for the Whatsits, baby? If you will. If you got your muffler in. So, anyway, back to the point. But yeah, Bray Wyatt is an excellent actor. He spent a lot of time with Dusty, and the Jake the Snake style stuff he does, I think, is the bollocks. So, there.
Yeah.
What else now? Well, we're going to be talking to this. I'm trying to get hold of Jason Cross, but he's been a fucking superstar.
He's probably.
I tell you what, mate. I tell you what. When I'm not balls deep in sheep, I'm down the mines, and then
bothering the wild.
I'm bothering the who?
Wildlife.
I'm bothering the fucking wildlife, mate. And you see them two houses up there? Mine's the middle one. And while we're at it, who's caught that jacket?
He's probably stomping around backstage somewhere with a fucking clipboard.
He's going around with a clipboard, telling everyone his old stories and bothering me and saying, Stu, you're going to the fucking meeting? No, I'm fucking not Jason.
I've got a fucking clipboard, and it's a list. On this clipboard, it's a list of places where Jason can stick his fucking clipboard. It's quite a long list.
But I'm trying to get hold of him. He's all over the place. He's going back down tonight, so I'm going to try and get hold of him tonight. But one person I've already spoken to this week is Johnny Moores, who is one of my head coaches at Extreme Academy. And he's also my St George's champion at Cinders.
And he's also the worst at setting fires ever.
Well, his gimmick is largely that he's a nutter from an asylum who's got a fetish for fire, so he's a pyromaniac. I think that's what they call him, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say pyrotechnic. But he's the worst pyromaniac in the world. So he's never managed to successfully set fire to anything or anyone.
One day we'll upload the gag reel of times that Johnny's failed.
My favourite one is dear old Greg, because I know young Greggles will be listening to this because he's a regular reader of this show.
Come back, Greg.
Yeah, come back, Greg. We love. I miss dear old Greggles. Yeah. But I mean, the best one ever was when Cinders launched a fireball and Greg wasn't ready and just turned around and it had already passed him. And just whistled past his ear and then he bumped. It was fucking classic.
That was just really weird slow motion sideways.
It would have had to have improved 20 times not to have just sucked. That's how bad it was.
It was so bad and so funny that I still do it. It's like still in my repertoire today of things that are funny.
It was so fucking... If you call something shit, is that defecation of character?
Yes.
Yes. It was shit. It was so shit, but it was, bless him. That was, EWW blooper reel, that's high up there. However, he did do the stump with the chair, which automatically set on fire out of nowhere, which was, I don't give a shit what anyone, that was cool.
That was
cool, but the referee Paz used the fire extinguisher on it far too quick, so
fuck's sake, Paz, you fucked it up.
Holding a chair, Paz. All of a sudden, bosh, this chair out of nowhere
Paz.
catches fire.
Fuck's sake, Paz.
It was fucking awesome. Paz is all over it like fucking stink on shit with a fire extinguisher.
Oh,
from safety! Oh, from safety! Oh, there's children here!
Oh
my gosh!
Paz.
Oh my gosh! It's safety, Paz. Wap, wap, wap.
That's the safety dance, isn't it?
So anyway, without further ado, let's go to my little chatette, my conversation, my small piece of talking with the man known as Cinders.
Don't burn, baby, burn.
Yeah, don't burn anything, John. Oh, no, you won't.
Baby, you're not a firework.
So, over to you, Johnny.
It's not getting hot in here. And I'm done.
Good. Over to you, Johnny Love.
Giving you your weekly dose of a kick in the nuts, this is Stiff Right Hand.
Hello, I'm Stu Allen here on Stiff Right Hand. This week I've got a special guest for you all. He's a very good friend of mine. He's also my head coach at the Extreme Academy of Wrestling, and he is the current EWW St George's heavyweight champion. It's Jon Moores.
Hello, my old friend Dominator.
Oh, that's Cinders. I was after John.
Hang on. Oh, he's gone now. He's gone.
How's it going, buddy?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Busy, as you know.
Is there anything you've successfully set fire to recently?
I should burn breakfast the other day, but I think that's about it.
Any good barbecues?
No, I'm shit with barbecues, mate.
That's a surprise. Right, it was good to see you yesterday, mate. We had, let's tell everyone about it. We had our first ever three-ring circus, our three-ring academy, Medway, Kent, Maidstone and Hastings, all at the Fighting Tigers Academy in Hastings. John, obviously you run the Kent ones. How did you think it went?
I thought it was awesome, mate. I thought everyone did really well. They all stepped up and did, sort of, I don't think anyone let themselves down or let anyone else down. And it was a really enjoyable day.
Other than Dean squashed dead.
Well, I mean, you can expect Dean to let people down, can't you?
You can't have everything.
But no, I think all in all, it was a really good session. I think a few of the guys let the nerves get to them a little bit, but that's to be expected, having not been in that situation before.
Well, the good thing is, your shout really, you decided that it was going to be, because obviously we've got with the WW Academy shows now, we've got 5 shows already booked for next year. Decided to use this as a launch pad and like a tryout, as it were, wasn't it?
No, that's great, yeah. And like I say, we had 7 down from the Kent ones, 2 carloads, which is a brilliant turnout.
Yeah, it was really good.
We can do what we can do, and obviously on the day we went over by about 45 minutes, didn't we?
Easily, yeah. It was near a 3-hour session in the end, but everyone was suitably knackered, so that was awesome.
Yeah. We actually came back and opened up Maidstone for a couple of hours, but by the time we got back here, there wasn't much training going on. Everyone was just buzzing from the session.
Oh, brilliant!
Recapping on the day and
that's awesome, man. I'm pleased to hear that.
No, it was really good, mate. It was really good.
Excellent. Well, John, obviously I've known you for a number of years. I was introduced to you when I first came to wrestle for you and your brother Alan at NCW. And obviously I'd heard quite a lot about your brother because he was quite a big noise on the Hammerlock scene during the first British revival. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into the job?
Yeah, I mean, Alan, Sebastian P. Sterling, as most people know.
That's the one.
Basically, we were like massive wrestling fans as kids, sort of age 12 and up, seeing all the big colourful superstars and that. And he'd found an advert for Hamlock in Power Slam magazine in about 1995. So he wrote to Andre and said, can I come and train at your school? And then Julie went off and did that. And me being the little brother, being 2 years younger, I was like, you bastard, I want to be there, I want to be doing it as well. So it was 1997 for me. I left school and I followed him down there. And yeah, it was, luckily for me, in a lot of ways, Alan had already established himself quite well in the club and in the pecking order. And he used to come home and practice on me all the time as well. So, just break sofas and beds and... Thanks, John.
Things brothers do.
You've got to love big brothers, haven't you? But it really gave me kind of a bit of a head start, certainly going into it. And... it's one of the things that really annoys me these days when people, I can't get to training.
Oh, mate.
And when we started out, me and Alan, we were living in Felixstowe in Suffolk, and we had to take a taxi to Ipswich to the train station. We had to get on a train to London, had to go from Liverpool Street to London Victoria, then jump on another train to come down to Sittingbourne, train for 5-6 hours, and then go back again.
It's incredible. It's not like you were saying. And not only that as well. I mean, when you're talking about Alan contacting Hammerlock via mail, you know what I mean? Can you imagine if we were running our schools like that now? We're waiting for the fucking postman to turn up. Do you know what I mean? It's like, literally that's how it was before the internet. And then, of course, you say, you're travelling several hundred miles, and you must have been fucked before you even got there.
Absolutely. And, at 16, and it was fortunate for me that he was older because he started driving pretty soon. So that made things a hell of a lot easier. But still, you're talking a good 2.5 hour drive, every Sunday. And we went every single Sunday. You know, we didn't take time off. We didn't fuck around with it. Yeah, we wanted to do this, and that was
and
what
they
we
used
did.
to have notoriously long sessions, didn't they, at Hammerlock?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I heard your interview with Doug the other day, and saying about, you know, Andre sitting and eating his cakes, and yeah, there was an element of that, but at the same time, you know, there was the, you know, get on the mats and do some shoot fighting, do some submission fighting with each other. You know, we had people lined up taking back body drops onto a big old crack. And it was, you know, a lot of the learning that we did was by working with each other, you know, and figuring out what you knew. And there were some fantastic people who came through them schools at those times. I mean, I was lucky that I think I came in just as Doug was leaving. But there was Jody, there was John Ryan, there was John Moss, you know, there was my brother, obviously. We had Casey McCulloch and Ricky Rage were sort of the two main guys who travelled with us.
Was Danny there, Danny Garnell?
Danny Garnett, yeah, Danny, so loads and loads of...
Or each one of those guys. I mean, I don't really know anyone lousy who came out of Hammerlock, if I'm honest. I mean, everyone's at excellent level.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was really bred into you that, you know, it wasn't come in, oh, do your best and we'll give you a hug and put you on a show. It was earn your fucking spot, you know, get in there, we work hard, we train hard, and if you earn it, you can do it. You know, and there's none of this kind of, oh, slip me 20 quid and bring a camera down and, you know, we'll stick you in a rumble. That didn't happen, and everyone wanted it, and the ones who didn't last long. You know,
as it should be.
Absolutely, and that's what I tried to kind of get into the guys now. You know, I have heard of a couple of schools who will let people buy their way onto shows, and it's like, that ain't fucking happening, mate. You know, you can earn your spot like everyone else.
Absolutely right.
You know, and we've had people who have come to training. It's not for them because of the way we do it, and they've gone elsewhere, and you know, that's fair play to them. You know, it's a different business now from what it was when I came in, and certainly when you came in and everything else. But at the end of the day, I don't think that you should be pandering to what people want. There's a certain way that you learn. There's a way that I learned, and that's what I want to sort of instill in the new guys coming through.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right.
Head going forward. Yeah, and Anthony's the same. Anthony English, he's sort of coached down here with me, and he's you know, he's come from Hammerlock as well. And
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was down there. He was very different back then. He was very small, but he was sort of after my time. We left around 1989. I sort of stepped away from the business for a little while, got married before moving down to Kent and going down a whole other path. But yeah, we were with Hammerlock till sort of 99, 2000, and then a lot of obviously other guys came in after us. But like I say, you know, all the names that you can reel off have come from that club and are doing fantastic things. You know, it's a testament to what they had down there.
Yeah, it's incredible, like you say. I mean, there's a lot of stuff said about Andre and this and that, but at the end of the day, you can't deny the product they had, and it was the greatest wrestling school I think Britain's ever had.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, take nothing away from the man. He was who he was, and you know, people can love him, people can hate him, people can have their opinion of him. You know, the fact of the matter is he created something down there that gave us guys a platform to get in and do what we do. I mean, I think one of my earliest opportunities, I was 19 years old and I got to wrestle on Chris Chavis Tatanka when he came over for a tour. You know, I got to go to a tag match against him, and I had Casey McCulloch with me and John Moss with him. Get smacked around with, you know, by a former WWE superstar at that time. He was still big and he was still a name and everything else. It's like, that was unreal.
From what I remember from the Bozeman, I think Andre, I might be wrong, but I think he might have been one of the first independent British promotions that actually used to bring over some big independent names.
I think he probably was, yeah.
Because I remember he brought over Adam Bomb as well, didn't he? And
that was before me. He had Jake the Snake over.
Yeah, I think he had Jim Neidhart.
Yeah, and obviously I was there for the Tatanka tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was, I mean, to be honest with you, when I was there, I didn't really know about what else was going on in the business. It was only when sort of myself, my brother, Casey, and Ricky left in sort of 2000 time that I then sort of opened my eyes to what else was going on. And, you know, we had a little bit of a run-in with FWA. And then sort of we launched NCW around 2000 time. And like I say, for myself, I took a step away from the business and got married and karaoke and women and getting drunk and all that kind of stuff. So I had a couple of years out around that time. I came back in 2004. And when I came back, I actually went down to Dropkicks Wrestling up in Purfleet. And there were guys in there. You had Charlie Rage, you had Greg Burridge, you had Nick Aldis. You know, all these again names on the Brit scene.
Mm.
You know,
tell us a little bit about Dropkicks, because that's the place where I've got a lot of. You know, obviously, Charlie and I go back years and years, and I've got a lot of friends and people like that from Dropkicks, but I don't really know an awful lot about the school. No,
I mean, to be honest with you, when I moved to Kent in 2003 from Suffolk, and I was looking to get back into wrestling, and I still kind of after the way that I'd left Hammerlock, I didn't really want to go back there because it was, you know, it felt awkward, it felt like a step in the wrong direction for me. And having a look around, and Dropkicks flashed up on the internet. I was like, oh, we'll give this one a go. And it was up in Purfleet, near the Dartford Crossing. I took a drive up there, and it was a guy called Frank Reimer, who's actually local to Maidstone as well. And again, you know, went in there, very, very welcoming, very, very, nice to have you in. And it was a very similar setup to what had been down at Hammerlock, but it was a bit more of a younger environment, a bit brighter. John Ritchie then came in not long after I started, and he was training some guys. I think he'd just come from Hammerlock as well, and he came up, did some coaching up there with guys, and they started running little academy shows at the Fondue Club next door. But again, it was it was like a judo club, so we had a big mat down on the floor, and it was just again get in, do your freestyle stuff, do your mat basics, learn your bumps, we'll get crash mat and do suplexes later. But you could turn up at 10 o'clock in the morning and train through till 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was just that venue was there, and the ring's there, and it's, I've not been up there in years, so I couldn't tell you what it's like now. But at the time, like I was saying, you had all them guys coming through. I mean, Stu Sanders, who was wrestling as Wade Barrett from WWE, he was there. I remember first time I met him was at a show in Queenborough down the Isle of Sheppey. And he kind of unfolded himself from his car. I'm not exactly a small guy, and I looked at him and thought, fuck, what have I let myself in for here? And then big humongous Mark Kent was there as well, 32 stone of him, and I was like, Jesus, what's going on? But so that they had a really good setup down there. And that was again a great opportunity. That's where Hard Love, the tag team, was formed.
I was waiting for that. I was wondering how many minutes we'd get in this interview before we fucking mentioned Hard Love. The boys are back. Oh, God. Well, go on then. You might as well fucking regale us about Hard Love now. This is your fault.
It was the most ridiculous thing in the world, because I was working as Johnny Love, which was a name given to me by consistently saying to punters, "You know you love me." Yeah, everyone loves Johnny Love. Oh, you're Johnny Love now. Okay, fair enough.
Fucking hell.
And there's this skinny fellow who looks a bit like Reg Holsworth off the bill, working in the ring, and he's gonna love me for saying that. And he's someone made a comment, and I made a little sly remark at him. He tried to kick me in the face. So we got off to a fantastic start, sort of wanting to kill each other. And time went by, and they're saying, what's your ring name? What are you going to work as? And he's like, I'm Stefan Hard. Hang on a minute, Stefan Hard, Johnny Love. You've got to call yourselves Hard Love and be a tag team. And that was that one sort of conversation was like, yeah, that's what you're doing now. That's that is who you are. So he went out and got some T-shirts printed, and good old Mama Moores made us some tights. That was. I
don't know why I find the whole thing so fucking funny. I don't know why. It always me.
But we're going to, believe it or not, Hard Love we've got a reunion. We're reuniting. So if you're in the Essex area, come and see
us. Is this for WrestleForce?
Yeah, Ollie Peace.
Oh, there's no surprise Oliver Peace put that.
Yeah.
That's probably his biggest wet dream ever. But fucking...
plug here. Thorpe School, Saturday the 18th of November. No,
don't listen. No, they're all cunts. They're all cunts.
Plugs.
I suppose that Brett Meadows is going to be on it as well, isn't he?
I think he's doing the ring, isn't he? Or something.
Of course, he's doing more ways than one. So, but yeah, I love old Dean. I mean, he's been through an awful lot, hasn't he? I mean, he's been through an awful lot of stuff, but he's improved enormously as a wrestler, and
he's definitely got his focus back now, isn't he?
He's a good lad, and he's now part of our roster as well now. So, talking of all things EWW related,
of course,
I remember when you and I had a little chat, and I was like, I you know, 'cause obviously I think you're genuinely one of the nicest blokes in wrestling. I'm not just saying that 'cause you're on here. I've said it to many other people. I think you're one of the nicest blokes I know in the business. And I always thought the Johnny Love thing was, I always thought because of your size, you're a big lad. Do you know what I mean? You and Alan are both big, tall, imposing characters. And I remember saying, this Johnny Love thing, you're too big for that. You know, you coming in, stepping over the top rope, and it's not a pretty, and you're not a pretty boy either. Let's be honest.
No.
I'm not saying ugly fucker, but you're not a pretty boy either. And so we came up with, we said, well, let's turn you into a monster, and you came up with Cinders.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us a little bit about the. Well, Cinders is awesome, man. Cinders is one of our top villains, and like I say. Obviously, you've got the St George's title now because Tarn and I both felt you've earned it, and you've been consistent, and you've always been a performing. Most importantly, you've never asked for anything. You've always, whatever spot you had on the show, whether it was at the top or the bottom or in the middle, you never complained about it, and we always really appreciated that. But tell us a little bit about how you came up with the idea.
It was really weird. I don't know if you remember the show we did for Charlie. So they
were weird shows, weren't they?
Weird show. There's a show I did for Joe, and I didn't perform to my best. I was having a bit of a downtime.
Yeah.
And I was in a bit of a place where I was in real funk with it because I was working as Johnny Savings, which I hated. The Johnny Love stuff really wasn't working for me, and I was at a point. I think I just turned 30, and I was massively hungover when I turned up the show, which is not what you do, kids. No. Do not get drunk and then go and wrestle the show. You know, it's disrespectful to everybody. And I performed like shit. And I was basically, I got balled out by yourself, which I massively appreciated after. Because you were one of the first people who was really honest with me. You know, when I've gone out there and had a stinker, you were like, come on, man, fucking sort yourself out. Which doesn't happen. There's too much this high-five fucking mutual appreciation society.
Yeah, all the time.
You know, and it gave me a kick up the arse that I needed to actually do something different. And I remember texting you and saying, like, you know, can I come back training and just get my head down and you know, go back to basics. And then we had the chat about, you know, we'll bring you back in, but are you going to be Johnny Love, or are you going to be something else, or, you know, what we're doing with you? And Cinders was kind of it was like my take on a really obscure kind of character. Coming away from, you know, traditional, I'm a man who's going to get in the ring and wrestle. It was a sort of a comic book villain. If you're going to come up with someone who could kill Batman, you know, who would finally get the job done, kind of.
Yeah, that's what attracted me. As soon as you started explaining it, I was like, yeah, this is great. This is what I love.
And it was sort of the idea being that evil can never die. So a bunch of evil killers are locked away in this mental asylum, and the mental asylum catches fire. They're all burnt to death. But because evil can never die, Cinders is the physical manifestation of evil. And he carries the souls of 1,000 convicts in his lantern with him, and he's just going through the mortal world trying to hurt and maim and
it's actually a fucking bit of genius. And I say, obviously, people haven't seen it. You come to the ring, obviously, you're well over what you must be. How tall are you? 6'5", 6'6"?
Well, legit or
yeah,
6'3".
Oh, are you really? I thought you were taller. And that's just because I'm a short ass, I suppose. But like I say, you come to the ring and you got the torn up boiler suit which you used to have, and then you changed all that, but your face paint is always shit hot and really on point, and you come up with the lantern and that, and it's a fucking awesome gimmick, man. I'm so happy with it.
And I think, you know, as much of that was, you know, you give me the freedom to run with it, and the advice that I've had from people over the years, some better than others, as to yeah, how to adapt the character and you know, little mannerisms and things to do in there. You know, I think my first match was with AWOL.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think we both our first singles match, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah. Cinders, and it went well, but I think, you know, quite rightly, as you said, there was too much wrestling in there. You know, as a monster character, you know, locking up and wrist locks and reversals, and you know.
Yeah, he's a guy who's come out of an asylum. We're talking about shit.
Exactly. So, you know, it's definitely, you know, how long ago was that now? It's got to be.
Oh man, we're looking at.
6 years.
That's got to be like 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely developed over time, and it gets better every time. And the Cinderella chance,
But it's awesome, man. I say you're always over. Do you know what I mean? no matter who we put you on with, every time your music hits, people chant immediately, and it's one of the few pieces of music we use where it's synonymous with your character. And everything about it works, and I've always loved it. So, like I say, you've got the run now. You've got the St George's title. Are you looking forward to October 21st?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to bashing Len around the place.
It's going to be a hell of a match.
But no, it'd be good. I mean, again, seeing the guys working in the gym, seeing him working in the gym yesterday, it's going to be a good match. The guys really come on leaps and bounds. I watched the ladder match last time round. When you've got 7 people in a ladder match, it is obviously difficult to have a standout within that environment.
It's got clusterfuck written all over it,
yeah. But again, he's been coming up. He's been working hard. He's in great shape. He's needs to work his cardio a bit, but then don't we all? I'm really looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a good one.
I think it's going to be one of the stand-up matches on the show. I was talking to Tone last night about it. The match I'm really looking forward to is that, and obviously her and Jinx. I think those 2 matches are going to be very strong.
No pressure then.
No pressure at all, John. But like I say, before we wrap things up, tell us about, because obviously the amount of phone calls that I always used to get after a show about people, wanting to, have their kids start in wrestling, the under 16, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't cater for them now. Now we can, can't we? So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we've got 2 academies in Kent. The kids class that we do is on Saturday lunchtime. We run from 12 to 1, and it's at Combat Sports Academy on Cuxton Road in Strood. We do 3 hours down there, so we do 12 to 1 as the kids class from the age of 8 to 14, and then we do 2 hours of adults from 1 till 3. Your first session is always free, so you're welcome to come down, try us out before you do anything else. We're all fully insured, and the Combat Sports Academy is a fully functioning martial arts, mixed martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing club. Really good reputation. Lee Johnson's a fantastic guy who runs it. We've only been in there for about 2 months now, and we're getting sort of 5-6 kids coming in regularly every week. They absolutely love it. Once you've had your first free session, it's then £8 for the hour for the kids. And for the adults, again, you do get a free first one, and then it's £15 for 2 hours for the adult class, which, is phenomenal. We then come over to Maidstone. We do Maidstone on a Sunday evening every week, and we do Sundays 4 till 7 p.m. And that one is, again, first session free, and then you can pay £20 per session for 3 hours. So it's, if you work it out on an hourly rate, that's quite good. And then if you want to pay for a rolling month in our Maidstone Academy, you can do that, which is £60 for the rolling month. And you also get a Thursday evening fitness class chucked in there as well. So you are getting bang for your buck.
That's awesome, man. No, you've done very well with both those. And it's listen to the hours. Because you're a PT as well. It's a hell of a lot of, and I know you're a hard-working guy. You always end up doing ridiculous. And, you end up having no fucking sleep at all most of the time. But, like I said, you've done very well over there, and I'm very proud of you. Like I say, you've come in, you come in as one of my head trainers now, and I think the way you've promoted it on social media and everything else, it's been fantastic. So just want to thank you for that, really.
No, and thank you for that. And also, I couldn't do it without Anthony. Anthony English is the assistant coach down here with me. He is absolutely phenomenal. I couldn't do it without him. And one of the bonuses that you get from working with us is that we're both there as often as we can be. So 9 times out of 10, you'll have both of us on a Saturday and a Sunday. And we're both fully qualified, fully insured personal trainers. I've been in this business now for 20 years. He's not far behind me on that. I've been a qualified PT and coach for the last 12 years. I've run my own personal training business. Anthony's the same. So not only do you get the wrestling experience, but we can give you the fitness, the workout advice, the nutritional diet advice. All of that comes into play, and it's so important to make sure that you're a full package when you're actually putting yourself out there for the wrestling. How many skinny fat guys do we see?
Yeah, many. It's very it's true. No, like I say, your Anthony's a smashing guy. He's not been with us a long time, but since he's come in, he's really made his mark, and he works fucking hard. He's great when he's on the shows. He's lovely backstage, very humble, and he's a hard-working guy. So. Like I say, everyone that you've brought our way has always turned out to be good, John. So, You've always done us very proud, my man. So, on that note, is there anywhere? Have you got any? Obviously, Twitter or where can people get hold of you on Facebook?
So Facebook, you can find me on Facebook. I've got about 8 pages. So there's the Extreme Academy of Wrestling.
Oh, fuck, it'll be all right now.
There's the Extreme Academy of Wrestling in Medway. There's Jon Moores Personal Training as my page. No H in John and an S on the end of Moores. Or just John Peter Moores. That's me. I am also on Twitter as Cinder's Love. And I'm on Instagram as Cinder's Love.
Had to get love on the end of there as well, didn't you?
Just get love in there, man.
Fuck's sake, man. Amazing. But John, thanks ever so much for coming on, dude. I know you're a busy guy, and I badgered you as soon as you got through the fucking front door. So I thoroughly appreciate your time, man, and good luck on October 21st. And I look forward to seeing you.
No, I love it, man. Thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and big love as always to you guys.
Awesome. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, man.
You want the truth? You can't handle the truth, you cock jazz. This is Stiff Right Hand.
Oi, shithouses. Right, okay, now we're going to go over to the 3-minute wrestle wrap-up with my little mate Dan. Take it away, little man.
I'm back on the Stiff Right Hand podcast. It's time for the wrestle wrap-up. Make sure you go over to youtube.com/wrestle wrap-up for more news every single day of the week. But let's look at the news this week, some of the top 3 most important bits of news. Let's talk about Neville. Everyone is talking about Neville. Has he left WWE? Did he walk out before Raw? Is that why we saw Kalisto versus Enzo Amore and not Neville versus Enzo Amore as was scheduled? Well, report has it he has left WWE. Will Ospreay has said he would like to face him. Bullet Club have offered him a place in, well, the Bullet Club. But a new report from PW Insider claims several sources within WWE have denied Neville's departure from the WWE. Whatever happens, I'm sure Neville will be fine. If he does go back onto the Indies, he'll be one of the biggest stars. Of course, it'll probably be Pac again and not Neville. But whatever the case, the king of the cruiserweights and former NXT champion will certainly be popping around, whether it is in the WWE or Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact Wrestling, or even Lucha Underground. I'm sure we will see Neville somewhere. But from someone leaving to a reunion, you'll know that the Shield are back together. But the big question is, how long will they be back together? Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose will be taking on The Miz, Cesaro, Sheamus, and Braun Strowman at WWE TLC in probably what will be the main event. Well, according to Cage Side Seats in their latest rumour roundup, don't expect to see the Shield go any longer than the end of the year, which is insane. So don't expect them to be around for too long. It's just a short pop, especially with Roman. Of course, he hasn't been cheered like that in ages, so don't expect him to be around for too long. Expect them to go back on their individual ways, or maybe Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose in their tag team adventure. But let's talk about someone called Trevor Mann. You may not know who Trevor Mann is. Well, you'll probably more likely know him as Prince Puma or Ricochet. Well, over the last couple of years, he's been WWE bound. Lots of rumours going around whether he'll be there or not. Well, Prince Puma's Lucha Underground contract expired in July, and Dave Meltzer has been discussing whether he will be WWE bound or not. Well, there's a recent video that's gone around with Ricochet blaming himself for a recent loss, but then goes on to thank everyone, including New Japan and his fans. And it looks like he could be going WWE bound. Apparently, like Adam Cole, everything is ready to go, but because of Lucha Underground and their clause in their contracts, he won't be there just yet. But expect him to probably, maybe even make his debut at the Royal Rumble. That's not a rumour, that's just speculation from my end. But Ricochet could be heading to the WWE very, very soon. There you go. There is your Wrestle Wrap-Up on the Stiff Right Hand podcast. Thank you for all the support. And remember, go to youtube.com/Wrestle Wrap-Up.
Read all about it. Doug Williams smashed in Scarlett's Minky.
Excellent. Well, welcome to Stiff Right Hand. This week we got a good friend of mine. He's one of the agents at WAW. He's one of our first exports out to Japan. And he is also known as the Welsh Wizard. He's the man himself. There's a little bit of male voice choir here just to bring him in. There we go. He's going to have a little tear come into his Jap's eye.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing worth wanking over.
Do you know this one, Jake?
Do I know what?
Is this emotional?
It is. I'm in tears as I'm.
Introduction.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, really good, mate. You know, just sat out in a nice back garden.
No,
no wonder playing fetch with the dog.
I was going to say, it's like you've got no wonder you've got blooming animals over there. Every time I go there, you always end up with a dog climbing all over you.
That's the way it is now, mate. But you know he's good as gold. He just wants me to play.
Oh,
there you go. You probably heard the squeak of that. Yeah, throw it in for him. You know.
So tell us what you've been up to, man. Like I say, before we get into all your background, it's you're one of the regulars at WAW now.
Yeah, I have been since 2000. You know, I initially came in only for a couple of months, to be honest.
When I first have a serious chat with a fucking sounds like you just killed a Muppet.
Yeah, I know. I came in 2004 into WAW. I think it was initially to do a seminar, and then Rick asked me to do a bit of wrestling for him, and I was planning on staying a year. And as you can see, we're in 2017 now, and I'm still here.
It's really good having you about, because like I say, I've known you for quite a long time.
Yep.
But like I say, obviously you work very closely with the talent and, calling the matches with them, and where you're working as like one of the head agents there. How do you find that?
Sometimes it can be easy. Sometimes it can be, difficult. It's weird because some of the wrestlers can be easy to work with, some not so easy to work with. The TV studio themselves, sometimes they're easy to work with, sometimes they're not so easy to work with.
We fucking found that out.
It's one of these things. It's hard to say. Yeah, haven't we just? But it differs from match to match. It's one of these things you can't say this is going to be an easy night or this is going to be a difficult night. It's one of these things that it happens when it happens.
Because of there's such a wide array of talent on the shows and that, with the with a lot of the Yanks and that over. How do you have you had to find yourself sort of stepping in there, because obviously the business, the scene over here a lot better than most. So have you had to find yourself almost cutting over the top, because obviously a lot of the big stuff, have you ever had to sort of like find yourself sort of muscling them out of the way almost?
To be honest, the bigger the star, the easier they are to work with. That's what we found so far. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that has been relatively awkward to work with when you're talking the big stars, like the likes of, your Scott Halls and Mr. Andersons.
They're both guys, man.
The likes of everybody we've had has been fantastic. Like Davari at the last show, Lee Hall, Rey Mysterio. I was the agent for Rey Mysterio's match. And he was probably the most gracious person I've ever come across in the wrestling business.
That's awesome.
We've had other guys, when you talk about the Yanks, Steve Corino used to be a regular in WAW before he went, WWE. Steve Corino was probably the most professional person I've come across in the business.
Yeah, he's a very nice, quiet, mild-mannered fellow as well, isn't
he? Yeah, absolutely.
Jace, tell me, because obviously you were very instrumental, because like you have a big link with EWW, because you were the man who trained our first ever champion, Fighting Spirit, Lee Edwards. And I remember, I remember hearing stories about you and stuff you'd done, and I remember seeing some of your stuffs on the old tape trading circuit back in the day. But I mean, tell me about
it's making me feel old.
Well, yeah, but tell me about your upbringing in the job and how you got into it.
I got into it stupidity, basically. It's something I wanted to do from the age of about 6 or 7, and I was determined, what I was going to do when I got to school. And, you go to your careers classes, one lesson a week, they give you careers, to try and sort out what you're going to do after school. And I told them I was going to be a wrestler. And they laughed and said, "Oh, it's not a proper job." I said, "Well, it is. You know, whether it's a proper job or not, it's what I'm going to do." They said, "No, no chance." And it got to about 1980, you know, we're talking 80s now. 1988, I think, along to a show. And I questioned, you know, about how do I get into this? And it turns out the guy that I was talking to, Max Crabtree's son, Scott, Scott Valentine. Yeah. And he put me into Danny Collins, Richie Brooks, Pete Collins, people like that. I was going up on a Sunday up to Cheltenham to train. And I trained for about a year. And then I think February the 11th, 1989, I had my first ever match.
Bloody hell, I didn't realise you'd been in a job as
so that's basically my... Yeah, it's this February now is 29 years.
Bloody hell, man. That's a long old time. I
didn't
even know they were doing wrestling training. But I was living in Oxford. I didn't even realise there was training going on in Cheltenham. How fun is that?
Yeah, we were training on a farm. Believe it or not, the ring was surrounded by hay bales. And in the very next sort of, paddock to us, it was just cows, and all you could hear was cows, you know. In the summer, the training was fantastic, you know, it was lovely and warm and everything, but in the winter, bit of a killer.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's amazing. I didn't know that. I mean, so what was your first big break that you remember? Because I remember
break.
I remember
just trying to think
the Valentine's Massacre? Which was
right, I'd forgotten about that.
Skid show.
Dirt Box,
what a cunt.
The Dirt Box Flid. Yep,
yes, exactly.
Yeah, to be honest, I agree with you totally. What a cunt, you know. I'll tell you a funny story about that. Right, when we did the first show, I think I might have worked Lee Edwards. I got him on the show. I'm sure I did. Yeah,
Sidney Lee, wasn't it?
That's right, he was. Yeah, absolutely right. And I can remember the show, and I called Dirt Box to his face. And Mikey Whipwreck was sat in the room, and he said, "This is so weird." He said, "Because in America we call him Dirtball." You know, so they had names for him pretty much everywhere. You know, he was a guy. You know, in all fairness, when he did his shows, he tried to do his best, but his shows were centered around him being the top star, which anyone that's ever seen him work would clearly see that he wasn't.
Oh, fucking terrible, man.
Yeah, he was dire, absolutely dire, but he tried working to a certain audience, you know, the same audience you were on about earlier with the tape traders. He tried working to that audience, and they just didn't take to him.
Well, I remember he was trying to give it the fucking big one when he came over with Sabu, and it was very obvious that they had no respect for him. And I heard he was told to get fucking changed in the corridor. And he
absolutely right.
Fucking way, and then of course after that, because that was a pretty big show, that Valentine's. I remember watching it and thinking, fucking hell, I didn't realise.
For that period of time, yes, it was. It was a big show.
It was a big deal, and I remember they were selling it in Power Slam, and I remember looking at it thinking, fuck me, that looks like a decent card. And then it wasn't long after that, I think you went out, you got the call to go to Japan, right?
For the first time, yeah. It was weird. That sort of came about totally out of the blue. They'd sent Japanese, I don't know what you call them, talent scouts, is it? You know, over to watch a lot of, I think it was Dixon's shows then. And, you know, they're saying, "Oh, we'll take you out to Japan, you fit just right." And, you know, you sit there at the time and you think, look, yeah, okay, whatever. When I've got the ticket in my hand and the signed contract, yes, you know, that's when I'll believe it. And I think about 6 weeks later, all of a sudden, it was fax machines then. There was no email or anything like that. It was fax machines. And the contract came through and everything. And I was still a bit worried because I didn't get my ticket until, I think it was the day before I went. You know, really worried over that. But yeah, it all came through, it all went, and then it just went sort of onwards and upwards from there. I think later on I ended up going, I think Fleisch was on one of the tours.
Well, Jody was on because I was talking with Jody at the last DWW show. I was talking with him, he speaks very highly of you. Jody.
Yeah, Jody's a good boy.
Yeah, he's lovely, and he speaks very highly of you and talks very fondly about the time he spent with you out there and that, which is why I kind of wanted to gloss over and, you know, talk about it a bit now.
We worked very well together, to be honest. It was weird because it was the first times we worked together, and we knew because big stage that we couldn't get it wrong.
I think that's when I saw the first time I ever saw the run up the wall moonsault spot, which blew my fucking mind.
Jody said, you know, I'm going to do this run up the wall, and I'm going to moonsault onto you. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah, I'm going to do that. I said, all right, if you think you can do it. So joking round, I said to him, while you're at it, why don't you run up the wall, get up the balcony and give me a dive across off the balcony? Now, bear in mind, this balcony was 25 foot, yeah? And he went, yeah, I'll give it a go. I said, are you serious? I said, I was taking the piss. So anyway, we get to the match. I said, don't you want to have a go of it first? And he went, no. No, he said, I'll just do it. I thought, right, no chance. So anyway, we worked, and it was the mask versus mask match.
That's it.
And anyway, I've sent him into the wall. And I've turned my back immediately because I thought he's just going to hit the wall. There's no chance he's running up that. I heard the crowd pop massively. And I've turned round, and the fucker's on the balcony.
It's meant on it. It's
so as I walked towards him, he's done this dive across on me, you know. Anyway, it was only, I think it was about 3-4 days later that I actually saw it on the Japanese TV, how he actually got up there. And he literally did just run up the wall.
Yeah, I did the Spider-Man thing. I remember it, man. Fuck, man.
Yeah, it was just so weird, but I was probably one of the last people to see it.
But don't you agree that he was, I mean, to me, I always think Jody is one of the very best in the world.
Jody, for me, I think, you know, apart from your likes of Mysterio and things like that who do what they do, yeah, Jody, until he decides to retire, will be the best at what he does.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that.
Jody's a flyer, you know, but he's a flyer who can work.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, boy.
A lot of flyers, you know, in the past and to this day, they can't work.
No.
You know, by working, you know, people get confused when they say working, okay? You know, people say, oh, that guy there's a good worker. Well, I tend to disagree. A worker for me is somebody who can go in with anybody, absolutely anything except the finish, and go out there and do it. Now, people forget he can do that. Just because he doesn't that often.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he's taught seminars for me. I know he's teaching a lot more now, but I mean, he literally has got the whole package, isn't he? And then now, of course, he's jacked to fucking looks the books.
Yeah, do you know, I was looking through some photos from Japan a couple of days back.
He looked like fucking Mowgli from the Jungle Book, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. You know, basically, he was about as wide as one of my legs. You know, it's weird looking at them now and seeing him now. You know, he's in phenomenal shape. But the funny part about it, you know, you always find as people get bigger, they lose the ability to do what they do.
Tell me about it.
But Jody, yeah, exactly. Jody's not lost any...
No, that's what I couldn't believe. Watching him, and he's doing those standing... You know, he's doing the standing head scissors, you know, from the ground to taking the guy off the rope with the fucking head scissors. And what the fuck's all that about? He's still got that split in his legs.
He's lost absolutely nothing.
He's lost nothing. It's unbelievable.
Do you know the funny thing with Jody, right? He's got more and more clever as he's got older. Whereas before, my biggest criticism of Jody, and he knows this, used to be he used to pander to the fans a lot.
Oh, fuck.
And if the fan said, Jody, run up to that balcony there and do 7 moonsaults and land on your head, Jody would be running up that balcony.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, he works and he puts his big moves, his special moves in what to be done.
Exactly.
Now, that for me is a work.
It took him a long while to fucking to get to that stage. I remember when we brought Nova from ECW, and he watched Jody, and he said, you know, he said you're amazing. He said, I've seen your stuff with Johnny Storm. He said, but you don't need to give him all that in weight. Save some of it.
Exactly. Where do you go? That's always my argument. Where do you go?
Yeah.
Once you've given them anything, and this is where it ties in. You see, with you mentioned earlier being an agent for WAW and all that. And sometimes we do have to rein people in when they go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go and I'm going to do this. And we go, hang on a second. You're in the first match of the show, or you're on right before the main and all this. How are they going to go on and follow you if you're doing all that, you know? Because I'm not a big fan at all of people working to put themselves over.
No.
You work to put the match over, and then by doing that, you put the show over, not yourself. If you're doing your job right, you put yourself over anyway.
Exactly right, and that must be a fucking hard job, because a lot of the young guys are more, it's the first time they've been on TV, etc., so they're fucking hugely excited and full of testosterone.
Yeah, it's sometimes you go to the guys and you say, look, what are you doing, and things like that, and it's like painting by numbers.
Yeah,
it's from A to B to C to D and all this, and go, hang on a second, whatever happened to the days when we used to just go out and work?
Were you there back at that time with Mitch and I? Were you there with the infamous thing with Dirt Bike and the Great Sasuke?
I was there, yeah. It was the very first day.
More about it. I heard Chinese. Well, shouldn't say Chinese whispers, really, should I? But I've heard. Lacist.
Yeah, very lacist.
Very lacist. I'm talking to Jason Cross, for fuck's sake. Come on.
I know. Being an agent for a Bellatrix show is more of a challenge. The reason being, it's not necessarily always the same girls you're working with. You know, like it might be X, Y, and Z on one show, but the next show it could be, apart from one or two, it could be a completely different crew.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, right, okay, fair enough. You know, so what you started maybe the previous show, okay, let's forget that. You're starting with somebody else now. And you do have to do it. It's more of a challenge, but it's something I like doing. When you see somebody for the first time, you don't know what they do, you don't know how they work, but then you listen to what they've got, and they say, right, we're going to do this, and this, and you say, nope, do it this way, and then you watch them go out and do it, you know, and that sometimes is better than, I don't know, sometimes it's better than actually working the job yourself.
I understand that, because I say you're helping, you're very instrumental in bringing these kids up as well. Yeah,
exactly. You know, it's at the end of the day, I was helped a lot when I first started out. Yeah, back then, I think from the age of 15, I was out, 5 nights a week. So back then, people took you under their wing. You just got helped a lot. There were people around that didn't want to help you at all, but there were a lot of people willing to help you. So you're an agent, and I think, if the match goes wrong, the agent has to shoulder a fair bit of the blame.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's fair. Some people might not agree with that, but I personally think the agent had to, shoulder a bit of the blame. If somebody else picks up and goes, well, that went wrong there, and it's okayed it, the agent is in for a bit of a shock as well.
I agree with that, and like I said, it's a fucking, at the end of the day, it's a kind of nice way for you to, because obviously I know you've had some horrendous fucking injuries, and you've had some really nasty fucking episodes in hospital over the last 2 years, which have put you out of action for a long time.
Yeah.
It's a nice way for you to sort of settle into I don't want to call it the twilight years in wrestling, but I suppose it is, working for such a fucking huge company as well, because the stuff that we're seeing now is by far and away the best stuff going on in Europe, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Oh, without a shadow of it. There's no company at all that is as big as WAW, and on the women's scene, Bellatrix. I see all women's shows pop up here, there, and everywhere, But you look at them shows, and they just can't hold a candle to it, The girls came over from, was it Rise and Shimmer? Yeah. And you look at them and you think, wow, the fact that they wanted to come over and work with this company here, that for a lot of period people ridiculed, saying that'll never work. Well, at the end of the day, fuck you guys, it is working.
Well, I've seen a lot of the Shimmer stuff, and it doesn't hold a candle to the stuff Bellatrix are knocking out now. I mean, the Bellatrix, I enjoy the women's shows on a Friday night more than the guys. Simple as that. Just because the women have to fucking, they've got more to prove.
They got more to prove, but I think from our point of view as an agent, it's the same job, if you know what I mean, for us.
Yeah.
We don't really get to see the show as such, from the point of view, like, if you're sat there watching a Bellatrix show, you're sat in the audience, we're seeing it from a totally different point of view. We're seeing it from a different angle. We're seeing it from backstage, so it looks different to us, and we're looking for different things to what you're looking for. Because I actually I didn't see any of the live broadcasts and things like that, because it was quite awkward to get it, on the internet and things like that. And being so far away, we don't have that channel. We've only just had TV in Wales. So, it's we're still going by candlelight. So we don't get anything like that. So I still haven't seen any of the episodes that went out on TV or anything like that. The closest I get to it is, sometimes you turn up hours before one of the shows, and they put like a highlight reel of it. On the
big screen there,
on the big screen. That's it. I was going to call it a Tron then. That's how American. But they put it up there, and sometimes that's the first time I've seen it, and it's interesting to look at it from the point of view that a fan is seeing it.
Well, I can tell you from a point of view, like I say, it is the only promotion I'd sit in a crowd and watch and enjoy. But like I say, I've watched them back on the pay-per-views, and they are fucking good, man. And it's a pleasure to be a part of them. You know, it really is. They work so fucking hard. But
yeah.
But Jace, I want to just before I let you go, because I know you're a busy man. The one thing I was fascinated to talk to you about was obviously now you are doing more teaching. So we want to get you down to the academy.
I'd love it.
How do you transfer your wrestling knowledge? Everyone's different in that, but obviously you had you had a very hard, tough, old British style upbringing in the job.
Yeah.
How do you translate that to the young students nowadays, who are sometimes obviously not quite as tough as the days when we were starting out?
Oh God. Sometimes you have to be a little bit. Is mothering the right word?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
My attitude is, I can't do this. Do you know when somebody gets in the ring and says, "No, I can't do that"?
Yeah.
I say, "Well, you haven't tried it."
Yeah.
So if somebody gets in the ring and before they've even tried it and says to me, "I can't do that," I'll say, "Right, out." And sometimes people think that's harsh, but I want to teach the people that are actually there to learn. If you're convincing yourself you can't do it before you've even tried it, then why are you there?
Yeah, fucking right too.
But I teach people the way I was taught, but I was lucky enough to get, I was in the era of where it changed from, the proper grappling style to a bit more of a mix with the flying and everything. And of course, going back and forth to Japan, I started adding the flying into my stuff.
Well, because when I first saw you, that's what you were doing. I mean, you were a flyer, really.
Yeah, sorry, I got a dog in front of me here shagging a pillow. So I was able to put, the flying in. I was lucky enough to be in that transition, so I sort of understand it from a more modern day approach plus an old school approach. But I still, the way of teaching old school is by far better than the new way.
Same.
Not that there's anything wrong with the new way, but it's wrong. If that makes sense.
It does. I was talking to someone recently, they're talking about a school, which I won't fucking mention the school, but the teacher of this school had said, we don't want the students get hurt, because if we do, they won't come back next week. Can you fucking believe that shit?
Why are they there?
Exactly.
Wrestling's a business, right? The whole idea of the wrestling industry, the whole thing of a wrestling match is to put across to that audience that what you are doing is 100% legit. If it doesn't look legit, people won't buy it.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to put it across.
Yeah, exactly right.
Hit people hard in safe places. Some people are going to cry. They're the people you don't want around. They're the people that need to be weeded out and get the people in that do want to do it. The WAW training school teaches and it's really strange, right? Because some of the trainers they've got there, they've got, Julia Sweet Saraya. They've got Roy, Zach, Rick, Frank Cullen, all teaching the same way.
That's fantastic.
It's really strange because we've all got different styles, but we all teach in exactly the same way.
Like I say, you all work the style which I loved, you know what I mean? You all work fucking tight, you all work snug, everything you do is real.
People used to call us stiff all the time. They go, "You're stiff." We say, "Well, I'm not stiff, just very, very close."
That's the stuff I fucking grew up on. That's the stuff that made me want to fucking give a fuck about it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the way I'm always going to teach, and nobody's ever going to change that in me.
Oh, that's fucking awesome to hear, man. Anything else from you, Tom, before?
Just keep watching WAW. It's going on the up and the up and the up. WAW and Bellatrix. People need to tune in and watch it. Buy the iPay-per-view. Turn up at the events. The promotion is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I couldn't agree more. I was fucking blown away last time when we turned up on the Friday night and saw that setup, man. I was like, holy fuck.
But every show has got a bigger setup, bigger and better. And, we started off with, I did start off, the Sigma entrance is completely the creation of Julia, Sweet Saraya. They twice now, 2 main shows, and it got better. I thought you couldn't top the first one, but they topped it last time.
I'm interested
this one's next time.
The whole thing, everyone on those shows now looks like looks like stars as well. You know, the guys are all getting their gear made by by Busty and all that. You know, everyone looks like a package now. Do you know what I mean?
There's a little bit of a plug there. You mentioned people getting their gear made by Busty.
Yeah.
I've noticed Dean Allmark is already, he's getting his gear made there and things like that.
Good.
There's a lot of places round, and they do make good gear. Places like Vic Stitch, and a couple of other places. But Busty Keegan. If you just do a search for her place, I can't remember off the top of my head what the address is.
So Keegan, isn't it? Yeah.
So Keegan. That's her stuff. It's absolutely fantastic, the stuff she makes, and it's a lot cheaper than other places. Plus, the wait time is nowhere near as long. But Busty was in the business for years and years and years. She knows wrestling. She knows what people need to look like. She knows what's right. Okay? Rather than somebody making it's never done it before. Her stuff is absolute quality. It is, I've just checked it now. It's So Keegan. So just check it out.
No, I totally agree with you, man. Should I say she's a great friend of ours. She's come down. She's taught at my academy as well. And she makes some stuff for some of our boys and girls as well. And she's, like you say, I send everyone to her in a heartbeat. She's the best. Like I say, she's made the WAW stars, the boys and girls look like stars. Everyone's starting to get in TV. A privilege, and we're all very proud to be involved with it. But Jason, thanks a lot for your time, buddy. You've always been a good friend. Always have a good laugh, and
likewise.
And cunt everyone off, don't we? But it's been lovely.
Absolutely, that's the way it is. That's not going to change.
But thanks for everything you do as well behind the scenes. Not just for
no worries,
not just for me, but for the wife as well, mate. But thank you.
No worries, just all. Thanks a lot, then, buddy.
Speak to you soon, mate.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.
From the man whose wife has a broken badger, thanks to Doug Williams, this is Stiff Right Hand.
Hello, welcome back to Stiff Right Hand. So there goes my interview with my good friend, the Welsh Wizard, Jason Cross. What do you think about that?
I quite liked it. It was alright. No, I like Jason. He just he's one of those guys that doesn't make a fuss too much about anything, but he gets the job done, and he's a bit of an unsung hero.
I didn't realise I didn't realise he did all that stuff backstage for the girls' show.
Yeah, Jason's solid backstage on the girls' show.
I don't want to know about that.
Not like that. Oh.
Hey, have a look at this, will you? The Welsh ladies love it.
Yeah, that's why we all tend to avoid
Jason's solid.
Running around with this fucking cutout.
There's a quote for you. Jason's solid backstage at the girls' show. Fucking hell. Aren't we all there? Aren't we all there? Oh yeah, go on then.
But I know that was a bloody decent chat.
Yeah. It was, and he enjoyed it as well, which is nice, because it's a record. Me and him normally can't go 5 minutes without cunting someone off, and that
you did cunt someone off.
Well, yeah, but he's a faster box skid. He deserves being cunted off. He's the biggest cunter in the world. I was sitting in my hearse today, and a group of lads walked past and went, "Look, it's Odd Job."
Why do you feel like why do they do that?
Because I look like Odd Job.
Oh yeah.
I said, random task I'll have, and there's silence and nothing. I was like, think about it, boys.
No, they're probably too young to have ever seen that movie.
Well, how can they? But they said, I told enough to know it was, you stupid cow.
No, I meant random task, you stupid
cow. Well, no, it's fairly obvious, isn't it? Odd Job, random task.
Yeah, but that was from the Austin Powers franchise.
No, but Odd Job.
Yeah, it was.
Random task.
Yeah, it was.
I know. But if they're old enough to know fucking what your Odd Job is.
Kids today are stupid.
Have they got time machines?
Yeah.
Don't talk nonsense.
Every kid today is stupid and has a time machine.
I wanted to wear a bowler hat.
No, and tell everybody why you're not allowed a bowler hat.
Because you're fucking rude. Because I wanted... I work for an undertaker's. I work for a wonderful family funeral firm and I've been working for many years, and they're wonderful people and I love them there, and it's a great place to work, and but during my time there I drive around in a beautiful Mercedes-Benz in my tight suit And apparently...
Why did you qualify it as tight? Like, why are you trying to be all sexy and alluring in my skin-tight suit?
No, because... in my skin-tight suit.
And no
The
pants.
trousers are so tight you can see what religion I am. And my ball bags splay from left to right.
Why are you being all erotic?
Because you said...
there wasn't any eroticism.
You said Sam about what the fucking bowler hat was, and you said,
yeah, why aren't you allowed to wear a bowler hat?
because my suit's very tight and it shows off all my muscles and my darb. So it's, you said, if you wear a bowler hat, it'll just be circle, circle, never circle.
Yes, I did.
So you said I wasn't allowed it because I'd just end up being a series of circles, like the Michelin Man, basically.
I didn't say like the Michelin Man. I
Well,
just said
who else is
circle,
made of
circle,
circles?
circle. Mr. Soft.
Alright, it's the same fucking bloke. It's Michelin Man's brother. Fucking, it's him in the fucking different advert. He's moonlighting the cunt. Either way,
It's got to make ends meet.
well, so have I. Dressed, and I want to wear a bowler hat.
Mr. Stay Puffed, he's another one.
Alright. I'd look good in a bowler hat.
No, you wouldn't.
Oh, of course I fucking would.
No, you wouldn't.
I would.
Where would your hair go anyway?
Inside the hat.
You just coughed
Like all hats.
on my face.
Good. Where would your hair go? On top of the hat. In the hat.
No, it'd be stupid.
Where would your hair go? Obviously under the hat. You fucking half-wit. So the hat's going to have its own
Not very
moustache.
nice. I'm feeling demoralised now.
Oh, you're just talking codswallop,
Well,
quite frankly.
Look, two things that I want to say is, one, I can't stop thinking about Kinder because I've got some, and two, what about this Harvey Weinstein?
I don't need your big city shining, I don't need your silver lining, I just want to be a Kinder millionaire. Any good?
I am a Kinder millionaire. Are you dying?
Yeah.
Can you stop?
Kinder millionaire.
Yeah, I've got 10 bars. It makes me a millionaire.
What are you talking about, Harvey
Weinberger Steam. Yeah, him doing all them rapes.
He hasn't raped anybody.
He allegedly,
That's a good thing. I do want to talk about that.
He
Actually.
allegedly has raped some people. And
Has
he's
he?
been two actresses of.
Jason Momoa said about it, but he's got away with it because he's good looking.
Because he's handsome.
Yeah.
No, what? No, that. Well, we can discuss that too. What Jason Momoa said in 2011
Doesn't matter when he said it.
was the good thing. One of the good things about working on Game of Thrones is that he got to rape loads of beautiful women, which of course is very fucking naughty and stupid, and he should have been told that was stupid. So he is in a little bit of a pickle because of it. But also, I just I don't. What is with this trawling of just like things that people said fucking nearly 8 years ago, or 7 years ago, or 6 or 5 or whatever? It's just like we've all said stupid fucking shit in the past, but just like, is he still the same person that he was in 2011? Has he not grown as a human being? Like, it's just.
You'd like to think so. But Harvey Weinstein, anyway, I know what my fucking take on it is, and my take on it is this, is that it's just very fashionable to come out and be all offended in that, because Gwyneth Paltrow, she looks like she wants to speak to the manager all of the fucking time. I would not, if Gwyneth Paltrow came into my shop, I would not say she looks like one of my exes, and she was a cunt, so...
Well, your exes are stupid and ugly.
Anyway...
And I'm so beautiful. Do you agree?
Yeah. Where's my pudding?
No pudding for you.
So listen, look, let me talk, because it's my show, and I shouldn't have to ask that. But Harvey Weinberg, what's his name? What's he called?
Harvey
Weinberger.
Weinstein.
Oh, I want a burger now.
Burgerstein.
Oh, I want some boigers. Harvey What? What's he called? Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, him.
Weinstein.
Gwyneth Paltrow, she complained about him, and Brad Pitt threatened to punch his head in.
I like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, however, 4 years later, she went and worked for him again in the film Emma, which won her an Oscar, I believe. So she was happy enough to take the money and to take the Oscar. So it couldn't have been that fucking bad. Then now all of a sudden he's the worst bloke in the world.
For me, right, if you know that someone is a fucking sexist or a raper or
a raper.
That's a sword, isn't it? Someone what does raping, or someone that's just like a sexual abuser or fucking.
I once produced my raper, stand and deliver, because there's another raper.
All right, Beardo. Yeah, I just find for me it's an integrity thing, and what we've learnt from that is that some people don't have integrity, and also that it's very, very easy to get away with being a fucking abuser, a raper, fucking a misogynist. If you are,
don't show yourself up to be an idiot.
If you're an influential, powerful, and wealthy white man in America,
the word is the bird, and the bird is the word. Now, what did you just say? No, integrity. It was the word I was trying to struggle for. Integrity is what it's all about, and we can say that. We're talking about...
Well, just let's look at it like the wrestling. Like, how many times did I go and work for that alleged British wrestling nonce bag? 0 times.
0 times. Again, it's about integrity. If you... you can't have anything to say about someone who has, apparently done many misdemeanours, and you go and take their money... And then
you're just as bad, and you're perpetuating it. Why would you go and make somebody that
you are that person? You are that person's product.
Yeah,
and
you are the same. You are fucking just as dirty. Dirty money, dirty integrity. Fucking.
I love dirty money. I love it. I love money in all its forms. Dirty, clean,
and spooky. I don't know. Chocolate money. I'm changing my answer. Chocolate money.
I'm not a big fan of Or I don't like dog chocolate.
Oh no, that's cool.
Chocolate money sounds it tastes a bit like dog chocolate.
Fucking chocolate. That's right.
I've been desperate.
At Christmas chocolate should be the best chocolate of all year.
You think?
But Easter chocolate is the best chocolate, or maybe Halloween chocolate.
Well,
probably. But Christmas chocolate is fucking shit. And do you know what? I am going to go on a mission about this year, and I'm going to expose all the shit Christmas chocolate.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to strap some trainers to my knees and shuffle around and pretend to be a child and go around picking up all the drugs, the free drugs apparently,
for Halloween.
That I'm going to get on Halloween.
We're on this again.
Well, thank you very much. I'll have a walnut whipping a gram, please.
Can I please have a bag of cocaine?
Yes, a nice bag of... can I have a bag of your favourite marijuana, please?
Sniff or treat!
Yes.
No, fire spiders.
Excellent.
Fuck off.
Fire spiders full. Anyway, that's all from Stiff Right Hand this week.
We didn't even do a cunt of the week this week.
No, we haven't had one. We haven't had time.
Can Jason Momoa just be it?
Nah,
for something you did in 2011.
No, there's no point.
Harvey Weinberger.
Harvey Weinstein. Yeah. Harvey Weinberger. You said it now. You're half-wit.
Yeah, he could be cunt of the week.
Alright, listen, it's the end, and I've come to the end of my fucking tether.
Well, I just want some Kinder.
Next week on Stiff Right Hand, we're going to be having the UK Pitbulls.
Oh, no.
And also confirmed for Stiff Right Hand, Gene Snitsky, which is pretty awesome.
I can't wait to tell him my one Gene Snitsky story. You have to wait until next week to hear what happens next year.
No, they're all going to be dead next year, but North Korea will have blown us up. But anyway, that's it. Thank you for coming. All the best, all the pants.
Kinder!
Well, Kinder, brilliant. All the best. Toodle pip.
Love you, bye!